We have to understand our own selves if we need to understand how to get off of the cycle called birth and rebirth. We go through birth and rebirth without understanding the reason why we have been born into this world. We come to this world to overcome our karmic templates, the karma, and we come to this earth school because this is a graduation field. This is a world of duality where you can go through duality and come to singularity. Because in this dimension, in this third dimension, in this world that we call planet Earth, in the vast cosmos, is a planet where souls come to graduate in their soul's ascension so that they can complete the karmic tasks and then ascend to higher dimensions so that we can go towards singularity and go towards new earth and end these cycles of suffering. So it might sound like fiction, it might sound unattainable, but I do know from my own personal experiences that we can be the change that we are looking for in our lives. You know, the problems, the triggers, the pain, the traumas that we carry within our own selves, even though we don't know where they are coming from, even though we don't know how they even happened, or maybe we even know how they happen in this birth, in this life. But there are certain ways that you perceive reality that you may not understand why you believe in certain things that you are believing in. You don't know why you perceive things a certain way. These are all karmically enabled situations that are brought into your reality by your own subconscious mind. Mind you, in your own subconscious mind, there are patterns embedded into your own psyche, patterns that you have carried along lifetimes, throughout eons of time, or many lifetimes over and over and over again, trying to learn a lesson that you can overcome your karma. You know, you are not a subject of your karma if you understand why you are serving the sentence of karma. Right? Karma has to be transmuted. You can't destroy karma. So when it's happening to you, you can only transmute the karma. And how do you transmute the karma is by you going through the karma. Now, karma can be good karma and bad karma. I'm not even differentiating the good and the bad, but there will be mostly what would affect you mostly is the negative aspect of karma. You know, you don't like negative things happening to you because you're programmed to believe that your life is to be a certain way. But these forms of resistance come when you believe that you need something else in your life and you don't understand that certain things happening in your life are happening for you rather than to you. Right? So the sense of feeling like a victim of your own life and life circumstances, it makes you feel really frustrated and helpless in this life. But the thing is, even though like we have technical like human earth years of life in this planet, that amount of years, let's say 80 years at max, or the 100, just to keep it even, 100 years of human existence is nothing in the vast cosmos of your soul life. Okay, so when you put that into context, this existence that you call human, that you have in this life, this birth, is a blip in the map of time. Okay, but then again, at a certain level, time doesn't exist. At a certain level of understanding, time is an illusion, right? And how to get to that is you have to go through the cycles of karma, the loops, the never-ending cycles of karmic retribution that you have to go through and again your retribution. You can't get over, you can't like forget your karma, you can't bypass your karma, you can't walk around your karma. You can try for some time, you can try to bait it, negate it, you can try to run away from it, you can try to bypass it, you can be smart, because up until when you are pulled into this path by the universe, you'll be unconscious for some time. And when you're unconscious about your soul's journey, you do have a sense of free will. Free will as in your ego has the driver's seat. Ego has the pilot seat. So when the ego is in command, it's just going to do what it needs to do to safeguard your security as a human, as an ego entity. So when that happens, it tries to stop your soul's progression. And for the soul's progression to happen, you need to go through the duality of life, meaning you have to go through the good, the bad, and the ugly so that you can understand there is no such thing as good and bad. They're all perceptions and ways of receiving and perceiving it. So how would you know that everything is just a thing? Everything is just whatever it is. And how would you know that if you don't go through things, if you don't go through life experiences? So mostly in my talks, my speeches, in my these sermons or whatever you may call it, mostly I speak about relationships. Why I call about relationships is because I feel like in this day and time of age that we're living in, I think it's okay to talk about it because there are people who have come into this earth to serve a purpose. Okay, it's a mission to guide souls from old earth, from the decaying old earth to the new earth of unconditional love and divine healing. So where the consciousness, where the egoic consciousness is diminished or reduced to enable you to go into new earth. With your ego, you can't. There is no new earth. The ego is bound. The ego bounds you to this dimension. But when you release your ego, when you release your desires, when you release your cravings, when you release the hold and you release the resistance that you have to certain concepts in your mind you, everything's a concept. There can be a thing, there could be a place, there could be a person, there could be a situation in the external, but the identification of the people, the person, the place, or the situation is actually processed within your mind. So that's why I say it's a concept. The moment that concept is called a drushti, when that drushti goes away, when that kind of perception, the viewer perception of a certain situation or person, the element of that situation or people or person is taken out, the color taken out, it loses its value. The concept loses its value. So then what are you fighting for? For concepts? Then when the concept doesn't have a value, you're not fighting for anything. And it's not like I'm not trying to tell you to be apathetic about life. I'm not trying to tell you to be like, saying that there's no purpose in life. What's the meaning? Everything happens for a reason. I'm anyway gonna die and nothing makes sense. I'm not trying to make you to be an apathetic person. I'm only wanting to understand that the moment of the inception of your thought that creates a negative or a positive trigger within you, at that moment, what if you didn't feel that sensation that's triggered within you? Let's say, for example, a negative emotion is triggered. A negative emotion of sadness is triggered within you, where you feel your sense of self and your self-concept is threatened. And then you feel this, sometimes you might feel your heart is pounding or there's a pressure in your heart. You might feel there's pressure on your throat. You might feel like you have 1,000 thoughts racing through your mind. You can't think straight. And in the mind fog, all kind of, restlessness, indecisiveness, and those kind of things happen, or even anger and frustration and lashing out, in the extremes. These kind of triggers happen within you because that word or the situation or the external force created that element within you. The external element didn't do it, but the value that your mind holds to the external element is what created that. So now you have to deal with the way you feel about that certain concept that is being taken away from you, or kind of having an issue in the external world. So you're going through an internal battle about something external. But what if that internal battle, if you can understand that internal battle that you're having right now within you, in your own psyche, was actually something that's happening due to karma, because you have to go through that pain to realize something. Because beyond the veil of the illusion is your soul self, is your soul's journey. Because soul's journey will take you through your subconscious mind, through the dark night of the soul. It'll take you through dark times to understand that, you are not your mind, and your mind, if it's broken, can be fixed. And it'll take time, it'll take engineering, it'll take a very deep understanding about your own self and your own dynamics, your own dharma. You have to understand all of that, because your karma is stronger than your dharma. But actually, dharma is stronger, but your ego is stronger in this dimension. So you say, for example, you're a conscious being, from a light being, to you come into this planet to be an earthling. You become a human, you're born here, and you have all this pattern behavior pulled into you, so you can fight these karmic battles that you have to do, so you can graduate onto towards your soul's ascension. What I mean is, your light body decided it needs to ascend at this time, the time of where the savior is coming. You can call the new earth is happening, all these things, and new age, these things are happening right now for a reason. And the light bodies came here into this dimension so they can activate the humans in this dimension, so that they can see the light body within themselves. But to become your light body, you can't just perceive you're a light body. You need to rid yourself of your ego. And to rid yourself of the ego, you have to go through life and sufferings to understand that suffering is inevitable, and it's inevitable because without the suffering, you would know how painful it is to let go of these concepts that you hold so dear, that you've been taught to believe that you need to survive. So these steps need to be slowly removed and reconstructed, re-engineered within your own mind, for you to understand that your soul self came here to have these lessons. So you can't get out of these vicious cycles of victimhood, because you think that you're a victim of your life, which you're not. So it's very hard to understand what I'm saying as when you're in a victim mindset level. But trust me, you can get out of it. It is doable. And it's doable because it is the reason why you're hearing this. It is the reason why you're born into this world. Right? And it is the time and age that you can do it. And when you rid yourself of your ego, you're going to rid yourself from the decaying earth plane of the ego system, and then work towards building your reality with a conscious mind, aware with your awareness, by following the guidance and the intuition of your own soul self, which is guided by the source itself. Because we are here to serve a mission. We come here to serve our life purposes, serve our karmic templates, overcome our karmic templates. And then we have to serve our soul's mission by serving other people, serving people around us, serving all the opportunities the source brings to us, so we can be serving people, so that we can help people ascend from the lower dimensional earth planes to higher dimensional planes, so that they can dilute the ego, so they can ascend through levels of consciousness and understand that the point of the creation of the trigger was within your own mind. The conscious point of creation of the trigger that triggered your mind within your own reality, within your own psyche, was within your own mind. It was not external. So the moment that you decide to turn towards yourself to find the trigger and eliminate the point of conception, is the starting point. So the first you need to understand all of these things, acknowledge it, and then start to do it consciously, day by day. And definitely you need a master in this. Without a master, without a guru, without a teacher, without guidance, you can't do this, because you are not the master of your ego. The ego is master of your mind. So if you want the mind to be rid of your ego, you can't do it in a day. You will need certain things that bring up your triggers, and then you will need a guidance system, a safety plan, a guiding plan for you to understand what's happening, what you're doing wrong, what you should not do, what you should do to overcome these things. So that's why you need masters in your life. You need a master to guide you to the process. So as a stepping stone, understand that you didn't come into this life by accident. You are very well planned to come here, because nothing happens by accident. Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. There is no coincidence. It just happens. It has to happen. Everything happens for a reason. Every mistake that you did in your life made you who you are today. Every mistake that happened to me in my life, every mistake I did, every error in judgment I did, every point of suffering I had to go through, every point of rejection I had to face, every point of heartache I had to face, everything negative that I had to face basically made me who I am today. Of course, it's not just the negative, and the positive is both important. And so all these negative and positive aspects that happened in my life made me who I am today. Because I know if those things didn't happen to me continuously, hammering me down, I would not become who I am today. Because I resisted it. I refused to go through with it. I refused it because, I wanted my sovereignty. But sovereignty within your own ego is not going to be a true sovereign being. You're not going to be a sovereign being then. To become a sovereign being, you have to go through the lessons and the trials that life throws at you so you can rid yourself of your ego slowly but surely. Eventually, you can understand what I'm saying. And then truly, you can find the point of creation of thought within your own mind. And then you can choose your own discernment and how you're going to react, rather than are you going to react or are you going to respond to situations? And how are you going to respond to situations? By using your intuition and your wisdom. There is no other way to get out of it. The reason is, while at the point of creation of your thought that triggers a response within you, triggers a reaction within you, when the reaction is not in alignment with your soul's path, it is going to keep draining your energy out of your system. So when you drain your energy, you lose your energy, right? So you lose focus and you get sucked into the warp of this time matrix. And then you get into this, the dimensions of the illusion that is being created in your mind that this thing is real. So at the point of the inception of the thought, if you can identify why the trigger and why it's happening, if you not even the why it's happening, the initially, of course, you will need to understand, okay, why is it happening? What is it trying to teach me and all that? And eventually you're going to filter through your system and then you will understand the familiar feeling of the trigger, but you will not react to it. We have been programmed through our trauma responses and the ways that we have been trained to believe and perceive and interact with our reality has not trained us to kind of contain our triggers or understand and ascertain the triggers. You're not trained to kind of understand your triggers. You're just going through the motions of life because that's what we were told to go through. My point here is not that you need to go through your triggers like unaware, unconscious. What I need you to do is go through these triggers, aware of what I just have told you, consciously go through and consciously watch yourself, how you are reacting and how you are responding. Can you respond? Can you recollect yourself? Right? So the reason if you cannot collect yourself is because you are too attached to the concept that's triggering you. So this will take time. This will come back in loops and spirals until you learn the lesson. Until you learn the lesson energetically, if you can align yourself out of the karmic plan, then you're out of the danger. But as up until when, you will be still going in loops and spirals, learning this lesson and removing parts of your ego that bind you to that attachment dynamic. So it's nothing bad, it's nothing bad. What I need you to understand is this: you cannot rid your ego, you cannot diminish your ego just by doing other things. Your ego is something else. That surrender doesn't happen through meditation. That is not surrender. Surrendering is surrendering your ego to your circumstances. And when your circumstances is built in the way of your karmic plan, and you have to surrender to that karmic flow. When you surrender on your karmic justice will happen. Your karmic justice is your ascension. Your karmic justice is your soul's growth. Your karmic justice is nirvana through parinirvana. Exit the matrix. And you can't exit the matrix as long as your inner conscious mind is attached to certain layers of your consciousness levels in certain attachment patterns to external things or concepts. So it's like a vicious cycle. But there is no reason of alarm or cause for alarm just because it's a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle as long as you're unaware and unconscious through your life. If you're unconsciously going through life and compounding karma, yes, then it's a vicious cycle. But if you are conscious and aware of your actions and you're working towards ridding yourself out of these egoic structures, and then you go through this path of ridding your ego and the purification process, then of course you will be getting the results in due time. But then the most important thing is you need to understand that having gratitude, the energy of gratitude in your being, that is where you're going to be, that is going to be what you need. Gratitude is absolutely important. Gratitude to your masters, gratitude to the source, gratitude to the universe, gratitude to anything that you believe that is above than you, higher than you, which you can't see. The faith to the path that is serving you this lesson. That gratitude is gonna keep giving you the energy to go through the lesson. If you have victim mindset, it'll keep beating you up. So you're actually giving a message out of the universe. If you're giving the message from your energy vibration of a victim mindset, then you're going to, that mindset is going to reflect in your outer reality. But if you're having the energetic composition of gratitude, then you're going to get more of events in your life that promote gratitude in you. It's going to be gratitude towards you. So you can have more gratitude in your heart. So it's like a vibration of gratitude. It makes sense? So if you have the right attitude, meaning the right attitude to the gratitude and the faith in the path and your masters, you will definitely shine through. Okay. So I hope this makes sense to you guys. And let me know if it makes sense to you.